It is 10:18. We interrupt this programming to bring you breaking news out of Orange County. People are being evacuated right now from a Dr. Phillips shopping center. This is on West Sand Lake Road near Turkey Lake. The fire rescue team, the chief, is speaking right now about what led to this. Let's listen in live.
I'm the division chief with the Orange County Fire Rescue Department. At 4:56 this morning, at the building behind me, Orange County Fire Rescue Department's units were dispatched to the scene for a caller who said that she could not open her door and heard popping noises in the building that made her think that the building was collapsing around her. Upon the arrival of our units, we also found signs of structural instability on several doors and had to force her door open in order to get her out of the building. With that being found, our units started to evacuate that portion of the building out of concern for the safety of the people within. The Orange County Division of Building Safety was summoned to the scene, as they are the building inspectors who would make a determination about the safety of the building. Once they did their inspection, they determined that the building was showing further signs of instability and recommended that the building be evacuated. Our firefighters are currently still searching the building to make sure the building is fully evacuated. We have identified a location to take people to keep them warm. We are also working with Visit Orlando to identify hotel rooms so these people can relocate to until this building can be determined safe. The building ownership has contacted a private engineering firm to come to the scene and evaluate the building. Once that private engineering firm has done that and determined safe, people can re-enter, but we do not have a time frame on when that's going to occur, and that engineer has not yet arrived. Any questions I may ask for you? We don't have a complete count at this time. I know it's over 200 people. There are 200 apartments, and the building was 93% occupied at the time of the event.
I did see earlier a person leave on a stretcher and taken off in an ambulance. Is that related at all?
That was not directly related. It was found during the course of the search. A medical emergency occurred, and we assisted that gentleman. So the Office of Emergency Management has worked with the Parks Department to identify a location they could be taken to. Right now, we've not taken anyone there because it's not been a need. We've also engaged Lynx buses to transport as needed. But right now, we're just working to get hotel rooms identified for a more suitable location for them to relocate to rather than a temporary facility.
What about the businesses that are?
Businesses have also had to be evacuated because they cannot operate until the building has been made safe. I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Right now, we're at a standby until the private engineering firm comes here and evaluates the building for its safety. We just don't have a timeline on that. I know they were coming from Fort Myers, so this first has to get here for that. Then they have to conduct their investigation and then go from there. Firefighters are helping them do that right now. As they identify needs, we're helping them gain their equipment and get it back out. And anything they need for the next few days, such as medication or other critical needs.
Can you elaborate on the type of damage that was seen in the building in terms of cracks or compromised structures?
I think, very obviously on what I saw was, very obvious cracking in and around fire doors, in and around residential doors. We had to force open several of them. It wasn't just one door that was affected. There were several doors that could not open. And so we had to use tools to open the doors to let people out of their apartments. But you certainly can speak to building safety to get a little bit more information about the structural instability part of it.
How do you first find out about
The original occupant of the apartment could not open her door and called 911 in a panic. She was very concerned and heard the popping noises in the building around her and thought the building was collapsing.
Do you know what floor she was on?
I believe she was on the 5th floor.
Is everybody completely out, or are you still trying to?
I think they're still searching the building to make sure everyone's out. We've gone through the building once, but we always go through and make sure everyone's actually completely out of the building.
Are we able to address
Absolutely.
questions about
I'm Gilbert Mercado, Orange County Division of Building Safety. I'm a Deputy Chief Building Inspector.
Can you just spell your name for us?
Gilbert, Gilbert, Mercado, Mercado.
And can you talk to us about the last time this building was inspected?
I'm not aware of the last time it was inspected.
I could speak to the last time it was inspected by Fire Rescue Department. We did our annual inspection in September, and then we've been doing re-inspections. As a matter of fact, we have re-inspection for a remaining violation tomorrow. But remember that fire inspections are, focusing on the fire prevention code. We look for obvious signs of structural instability. There were none at that time. Building safety would be involved if there were obvious signs. We do refer violations like that to them if we find them during a fire-related inspection.
I'm sorry, it's hard to hear you with the cars.
Is there any specific signs that each emergency like this happens structurally that you move forward with like any type of inspection or anything like that?
So we walked the building with fire. We saw obvious signs of fresh cracking on there. Um, through the drywall, first floor, it got progressively worse as we went up. So we made a determination the building wasn't safe at the moment. We're just waiting for the structural engineer to arrive.
What are the most immediate concerns of these?
We just don't know the stability of the building. We're waiting for the engineer to evaluate it.
How many floors is the building?
It's 5 floors total. 5 floors.
How many other buildings surrounding do you think it's safe to evacuate, or is just this one at this time?
Just this building at this time.
Do you know all of the buildings that have been affected, the Rialto, or what are the other businesses surrounding it?
We're not aware of any other buildings.
The buildings, I'm sorry, the businesses.
We haven't been inside the buildings, but we saw stuff on the ground floor on the exterior that we can see signs of structural damage. Cracks.
Just cracks.
Cracks.
Is it the roof also that's
We have not been up on the roof to see it.
What could cause something like this to happen, those cracks? Foundation issues or anything like that?
I'm not sure to be on the engineer's report.
Is there any structural damage on the ground level, only on the top?
We just seen from the outside of the building on the ground level. So we just saw cracks on there. Structural engineer will evaluate it.
You know, I have a question for both of you guys. You know, speaking to some of the residents who've been evacuated, they're understandably scared, nervous, and upset. What are some of the things you would like to tell them this morning as they try and figure out whether they can get all their stuff out, the uncertainty for what's going to happen over the next couple of hours and days?
I just preach patience. You know, we're advocating for their safety. It's very inconvenient for them, and we understand that. But there's no other option. This is the only thing we can do at this point is to take the safest approach and evacuate them and keep them safe while we wait for a structural engineer to come in and make sure that the building is safe to reoccupy. And if it's not, recommend what needs to be done to make the building safe. It was at 4:56 this morning.
Is there an estimate of how many people have been evacuated?
I don't have that complete number yet. There's 200 apartments. It was 93% occupancy at the time. So roughly, you know, anywhere from 200 to 400 could be the number. I just don't have the exact number right now.
Do you see the damage only in a sector of that whole building or in
I think we saw damage on all floors. I mean, to some degree, you know, and throughout the building.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
You were just listening live to an update from Orange County Fire Rescue. They confirmed they evacuated dozens of people from an apartment complex and a shopping center in the Dr. Phillips area of Orlando. This is on West Sand Lake Road near Turkey Lake. They got a call just before 5 o'clock this morning from a woman who lives on the 5th floor. She called them in a panic after she heard some cracking, worrying that this building was going to collapse. Firefighters then responded after hearing those popping noises from the woman. They had to force open her door. They then did an initial inspection and said they did see some signs of instability for that entire building, so they evacuated everyone. They could not confirm how many people live there, but they do know the apartment building has 200 units and it was 93% filled. So you can imagine it's quite a few people, and our cameras on the ground have shown that. There is also a lot of businesses in this vicinity. They too have been evacuated just as a precaution until a new contractor can get there, an engineer can get there and evacuate and look at this building so that they can see if it is unstable and what the cause is. We do know right now those businesses, everybody is on standby until that private engineering firm gets in. They're coming in from Fort Myers. They want to conduct their investigation and then go from there. Until then, they did work with Visit Orlando to try and find temporary housing for all of the people who live in this apartment unit right here. This is a live look from Drone 2. You can see the heavy response from the sheriff's office as well as Orange County Fire Rescue. Fortunately, as of right now, no reports of any injuries, but a lot of confusion from people there on the ground just wondering when they can get back inside. The fire chief is asking people to just be patient while they evaluate this building. Obviously, safety is their priority. They want to keep keep everyone protected from whatever could potentially happen here. We have crews on the ground. We will continue to monitor this breaking news as we watch people coming out of this building right now with suitcases, their luggage, because they don't know when they will be able to go back home. We will continue to ask questions and press to see when this building was last inspected. The fire department said it was in September. They didn't see anything wrong with it. That's obviously part of this investigation as well. As we get more answers, we'll keep you updated here on the air as well as online at WESH.com. And don't forget to turn on those alerts with our free WESH 2 News mobile app. The time now is 10:29. We'll get you back to regular programming.
For the latest on this breaking story, stay with WESH 2 News.